So we've been asking you our question of the day. What are your thoughts on the performances of the African teams playing in the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States? And in fact, that takes us to our interview. Remember, we will be checking out your responses and your comments in the next hour. So do engage with us on x.com. What are your thoughts on the performances of all our African teams playing in the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States? We have Wydad, we also have Ahly, we have Mamelodi Sundowns and Esperance de Tunis. Those are African clubs. And in fact, talking about this, it hasn't been an easy ride for the four African representatives at the FIFA Club World Cup, currently being played in the United States. South African League champions Mamelodi Sundowns are, though, in a good position as leaders of Group F. Moroccan side Wydad Athletic Club are third in Group G. And then Egyptian giants Ahly and Tunisian giants Esperance sitting last in their respective groups. And so to look at how the African teams have started in this tournament, we've roped in a Far Post editor, Mthokozisi Dube. Thanks so much for joining us, Mthokozisi. I mean, before we get into the results, there's been so much criticism around this tournament. Perhaps not only criticism, but just looking at the fact that it's the first time that it's the 32-team format, and that FIFA want to expand it to the 50-team format as well. Some people are saying, and some analysts are saying, well, it's a congested schedule for players. It seems like only the wealthy clubs are going to do well, and it's all about them. But at the end of the day, it's probably needed to make sure that other clubs can showcase their skills in a global format. What do you think?
Good morning, Stacey, and good morning to the viewers. Look, I think, I mean, for the first time, we have four teams, from Africa playing at the FIFA Club World Cup. I think which is important for our teams on the continent, and an expansion would mean more African teams as well, which I think is a good thing. I think when you look at it from a financial point of view, I mean, I was just looking at the FIFA. I mean, the CAF Champions League winner pocketing $5 million US, and you're looking at the Sundowns now after kicking the ball for 90 minutes. I mean, they're already sitting on almost 200 million rands. So I think from a financial point of view, it will benefit especially African teams. So I think an expansion would really be a good thing, in my opinion.
I mean, Tlhopie Motsepe was saying that they're there to compete, but also to showcase African excellence. They've done that, and I think that's a good segue into the upcoming fixtures. They're up against Borussia Dortmund. That's going to be tomorrow, Saturday. And then they have Fluminense next week. What are your thoughts, specifically tactically, going into those fixtures for Mamelodi Sundowns specifically?
Yeah, look, I mean, when you look at the way they played against Ulsan HD in their first game, I think they didn't just win the game, they dominated possession, I think averaging about 68% ball possession, I think, which shows they can compete on the world stage. They are top of Group F, going into that game against Borussia Dortmund, who were not really convincing in their opening match against Fluminense. I do think that the Mamelodi Sundowns stand a good chance if they approach the match obviously with caution, because you can't go all out in attack against a team like Borussia Dortmund, who have so much quality to hit you at. But I think the most important thing would be for Sundowns to take their chances. I think going into the competition was a bit, looking at their scoring record in the CAF Champions League was a bit worrying, because in the last 12 matches of the CAF Champions League, they had scored only in one match they had scored more than one goal, which was a 2-1 win against the Congolese side. And of course, in that game against Ulsan, they had 2 goals disallowed. Which one of them I think was a bit unfair. So I think they will draw that confidence to say, if we could score goals in that game, we can even score goals against the Borussia Dortmund. But most importantly, they will have to defend very well in that particular game.
I mean, Dortmund did look slightly fatigued, and again, this was the point that we brought up initially as one of the criticisms, because it's right at the end, and we will have players more fatigued. And then you mentioned, the fact that they haven't been scoring as many goals as perhaps they want to, because I think Ronwen Williams posted on his status on Instagram that 1 is 1 even in America. So it's almost like a justification that, guys, we're going to take whatever we can get at this point in time.
True. I mean, this is, I mean, in a tournament, you just need to get goals. If
And
one
the
goal
3
gets
points,
you
yeah.
3 points, you're at the top of the group. If one goal, gets you the necessary points, I think that's important. Get the goal, defend very well. I think they did it very well against Ulsan. And against Dortmund, I do think they have the quality. They just need to set up very well, be compact at the back, and make sure they don't concede, because even if they do get a draw, I think that could still be sufficient, obviously, going into the Fluminense game, which I think would be the most difficult game for them.
Yeah. I think, just to end things off, what are you making of the other African teams? Because it is a bit of an uphill battle for them.
Yeah, look, we saw Al Ahly not convincing, losing 2-0 last night. I don't think they've been good enough. They're sitting at the bottom of their group. It doesn't look like they will do very well. I mean, the fact that Sundowns are the only African team that has been able to score in this competition tells you that African teams still have a long way to go. Esperance also losing their first match 2-0.
Yeah.
Wydad as well losing to Manchester City. So I think African teams still have a long way to go, to sort of close that gap and compete against these clubs on the world stage.
Certainly. Just as I let you go, Mthokozisi, I think to make it into the round of 16, obviously it's still early days, as much as Sundowns is sitting at the top of their group, but who do you predict is going to go through?
In that particular group, I predict Fluminense. I think they were very convincing. And then Sundowns, I'll put my money on them going through to the next round.
All right, thanks so much for chatting to us. It's Mthokozisi Dube. He's from the Far Post, a football analyst, and we've been chatting about how African teams have been faring in the FIFA Club World Cup. And talking about that, actually, that relates to our question of the day. So remember to get onto x.com and let us know what you think. Who do you think is going to progress into that next round of 16? It is up on our x.com account, and you can see it on your screen right there. Which of the African teams have been impressing you, even though it is still early? Wydad, Esperance Tunis and Al Ahly perhaps having that uphill battle to climb. Mamelodi Sundowns looking good at the top of their group.